Not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. My girl, St. Mother Teresa, said that, and we're going to share about that today. Welcome back to another episode of Youth Ministry Insights. I'm super excited to be here with you, and I shared a quote from my absolute favorite saint. I have a bunch, but she's my favorite, St. Mother Teresa. She's always over my shoulder in these videos since I've moved to my home studio, which is really just my home office where I set up my tripod. But anyway, we are in the middle of our quarantine still. And I'm from New Jersey, so I know we're going to be at it the longest. So I'm really blessed to be able to still bring these videos to you from my home. And you get to see some of the things that are part of my home, which the saints we love should be a part of our homes because they love us and we need to remember our love for them. And how do we do that? Well, we have pictures of our family members that we love around our houses. Same for our saints. We love them so much. So that's why you see some of my favorite saints, St. Mother Teresa. But let's talk about today that quote. And you might remember that quote a little bit from one of St. Mother Teresa's favorite saints, St. Teresa the Little Flower, which is do small things with great love. And doing small things with great love means so much in youth ministry. So our youth love us, and who doesn't want to feel loved? Who doesn't want to feel wanted or something special done for them? So I always think about this in youth ministry. How can I do these special little things for my youth that lets them know I love them? Some of you are probably doing this already, and before everything started with the COVID-19 pandemic, maybe you were in motion. I know I was doing a bunch of these. Right before it started, I was going to what we call play season in New Jersey because basically all the high school plays take place somewhere between February and April, March being the biggest month of them. And I had 4 weeks in a row going to high school plays to see my youth perform or see them and support them because they're part of stage crew or maybe their lead role. I always go and support them. Doing those small things with great love, that means a lot for them. Going to their sports games and supporting them that way. A lot of times in these different things that they do, you can support them as well by sending little messages. I know in the plays they do this and some of the other big things that our high school puts on, something in those little notes, the candygrams, things like that. But now, while we're in quarantine, how can we continue to do that? I've seen a lot of great discussion on this on some of the different youth forums, youth ministry forums with other youth ministers, and I think they're all some excellent ideas. And I kind of picked a few different ideas and kind of rolled them into one with my youth. Now, for a lot of us, we are blessed with a big youth ministry program. My youth ministry runs 3rd grade to 28 years old. So there's a lot of people involved in a lot of different ways, some young, some old. I also run high school and middle school programs at our public schools. Stay tuned for an episode on that coming up sometime in the near future. But besides that, there's just so many of them. So how can I, reach all of them? I knew I want to be able to get to all of them. So I took a select group, what I call my core team leaders. The youth who have volunteered with me throughout a year commitment, so we're kind of coming up on the end of that right now, a year commitment in serving our ministries in a higher level way. They're held to a higher esteem. They do all of our setups, all of our cleanups. They come up with a lot of ideas. They have special retreats where they come up with different things for our ministry year. And so how can I honor those youth with a small thing done with great love? And so I decided, well, let me work in the parameters that we have given to us. We need to social distance. We cannot be close, but a screen meeting wasn't doing it for me. And I know it wasn't doing it for some of my youth because some of them weren't showing up. And I thought, how can I reach them? Small things, great love. And so I decided that I was going to route out to my 24 youth ministry members. There's a set of twins, so 23 houses, and route out a whole Sunday afternoon to go to their houses, leave a small little package of I call it my spiritual power pack. It had some holy water in there, a little JP2 medal because St. John Paul II is our patron saint of our ministry. It had in there also a little prayer card. And then our youth group always has fruit snacks on hand. So I got a pack of fruit snacks, a big 100 pack, and I put 2 packs in each of their little bag in their spiritual power pack. And I put in there a note to all of them. They all had the same note, right? Praising them for their leadership, thanking them for it, telling them how I'm praying for them during this time. But then at the bottom of each one, I wrote them each a little personal note, just a couple of lines, because I think that personal note means a lot. And I'm going to share about that a little later. So I went around, I mapped it all out, where to go, the best route. And basically, some of our youth are super dedicated. They come from about 40 minutes away, 30 minutes away, some of them, but many were located right within our town. And I went and I put the spiritual power pack down on their steps, right up front of their door, rang the doorbell, and waited for someone to come to the door. Many times it was the youth themselves or their families. And everyone was so surprised, like, Kari, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I miss you guys. By the way, I had my mask on too, just to be safe. And I said, I miss you guys. I miss you. And I miss seeing your face. And I just wanted to come to every core team member's house and say hello and see how you're doing and drop off this little package, this little present for you. It touched their parents' hearts. It touched my heart, but most especially it touched the youth's heart to see me. I mean, there was a lot of tears shed, actually. Some of us haven't seen each other in 6-7 weeks, and that's if they were at the last youth group meeting. If they weren't at that last youth group meeting, it's been even longer. These are people we saw every week, sometimes 2-3 times a week if they were volunteering or we had a core team meeting or something extra planned in that week. These are people that, I saw very, very often. They were my family. They're my youth group family. So to go 2 months without seeing them and then seeing them, it brought some tears. It brought a lot of joy. It brought more joy to me than I ever thought. And it also took a lot longer than I thought. It took me about 6.5 hours, but it meant everything. I was so happy I did it. I kept calling my husband in between, telling him, I'm so glad I'm doing this. I love it. It's so awesome. I love seeing the kids. So if you can do something small with great love, it's going to go a long way. It's going to go a real long way. I got beautiful messages after from parents. Some of the youth reached out themselves saying, thank you, I needed that. Thank you for doing that. That meant a lot. So it might take a lot of our time sometimes, more than we think, energy and effort. But if we do those small things with great love, it will go a long way. And the story I'm going to end with is this. You might do this already on your retreats. Every year we have a retreat, and I'm starting to do a retreat series before all this happened, so it's put on hold for a little bit, but it's coming soon. We plan our retreats out from start to finish, and we handcraft them. But one thing that I've learned from other retreats, which is kind of a known thing, is to do love letters, also called palanca letters. Palanca means love, to lift one up. And so in those palanca letters, those love letters, I do the same thing to every single youth attending the retreat. And usually it's around 75 or so people attending between youth and the chaperones. And that's what our retreat house holds, so that's what we have usually around. And I write a letter kind of geared towards that retreat year, which is a copy and pasted letter to everybody. But at the end, I write a personal letter to that individual that I'm addressing in that letter. And I talk about, whatever it is about them that I see in them, or that I love in them, or that I admire in them, that I think is beautiful, how God's working in them. And many of them tell me how they saved those letters. Within 1 week of the quarantine, and I guess because people have extra time, they're going through stuff, I had 2 young adults reach out. One is now married with 3 kids. Another one is a nurse working on the front lines. And both of them, they don't know each other. They don't know that each other reached out to me. But both of them said, I was going through some old things. And I found your letter from a retreat. And it meant so much to me. And when I saw that, and I saw that they saved it, this is going back anywhere from 6, 7, 8 years for each of them. One was in 8th grade when she received it, and another one was in high school. And they said, wow, what you wrote to me, or what God was trying to tell me on that retreat really meant a lot. And I saved this letter. Those small things with great love mean a lot. They mean a lot to us as youth ministers, and they mean a lot to those youth themselves. So take some time to do those small things with great love. We cannot do great things, but we can do many small things with great love. God bless.